Yeah, really excited about this matchup. One of the toughest places to play in all of college football. It'll be as loud as it ever it is. It always is. One of the loudest in the SEC for sure. They've done a great job. Josh has got a great team and program. They're a playoff team from last year that we've had some really, really physical games with. It'll be no different. They are built around toughness, running the ball and stopping the run, which they're very good at both. And I think people have a mistake about their offense that it scores so many points, but they are very physical. And you look at last year's game between both teams, both lines of the scrimmage were extremely physical, and it's been that way every time we've played each other. So won't be any different this time. Going to a tough place to play. First game on the road in the SEC. When you open up on the road in the SEC, it's always challenging. Be important that our players understand that the environment is something that you don't have to worry about. You got to worry about how you play, and sometimes that's easier said than done, especially with young players. But we'll prepare for it, and we're excited to go play. These are the games you come to Georgia to play in. So I'm excited for these guys.
Yeah, Coach, and you mentioned the prep starts with stopping the run from Tennessee, but what have you seen from Joey Aguilar at the quarterback position for those guys, how he's playing right about now?
He's playing really efficiently. He's got great arm talent. He's a really good athlete. You can tell he understands the system. He gets the ball out quickly. He's been very accurate. He's had some really well-thrown balls, a couple that they've dropped in crucial times, but he makes some good throws, and really a good deep ball passer. I think he puts air under the ball and gives the receiver an opportunity to run under it. He's made plays with his legs, which you have to do in this league at quarterback, and he's been very, very impressive in the two games they've played.
Yeah, Kirby, going back to their run game, they lose Dylan Sampson in the offseason, but have been productive through two games. Just what are you seeing from their run game and what they've done so far?
Well, they've always played a lot of backs, so they have multiple backs that come in the game. They're very physical. I mean, they're all 210, 215-pound guys. They run downhill. They don't sit there and try to attack sideline. They get vertical. They hit us last year on vertical run. Very patient runners, well coached. They have a lot of schemes in their run game because of the formation variation they use. But they're committed to it. Like it's physical within the trenches, and their offensive line plays extremely physical. They are very intentional with their bumps and their doubles. They attack you and they try to get you out of your gaps, and they spread you out. I mean, they do a really good job in the run game.
Yeah, obviously not turning the ball over is a tenet for you guys, but from a quarterback perspective, how do you balance still being aggressive and trying to take those shots and make those plays while at the same point in time trying to limit the potential turnover-worthy plays as well?
Well, as we've learned, you can turn it over on any play, right? I mean, we had a running play that was a turnover, so nothing's inherently perfect or safe. I think passing the ball down the field is not necessarily – it's one of the lower turnover rates there is. I mean, the pass that we did get as a turnover was a short intermediate passing game that a guy fumbled after he caught it. So I don't really know what you're asking. I mean, there's a good and bad for both. I mean, you can't turn the ball over and make good offense. You got to prevent turnovers, but you also have to have ability to throw it down the field and hit some shots and be explosive. But I don't think that would keep you from doing it, thinking about turnovers.
Coach, last couple of years they've had some quick starts on offense against you guys. You guys have adjusted rather quickly. What is the biggest key for your defense when you make those adjustments to kind of slowing them down the rest of the game?
Yeah, I don't know that there's any adjustments made as much as the tempo of the game. I mean, nobody prefers to start that way. They do a good job of attacking, start the game. They've had good plans, but it's more about settling in and playing the speed of the game that we can play. I mean, I certainly expect us to do that from the start, but it hasn't always been that way. It's very unique, the spacing and how much space there is when you play these guys. So we certainly don't want to spot a lead or give them a lead. It's not our intentions.
Kirby, I want to get an update on Juan Gaston and Ernest Green, and also noticed Talon Taylor played a lot early in the game on Saturday, but then kind of didn't last three quarters. One didn't know if he might be dealing with something too.
No, Talon's fine, and he played in different situations. He's played all year in different situations. Both Juan and Ernest will learn more about today and see where they are. They're both coming off of bumps and bruises and injuries, but hopeful to get them back.
Kirby, Tennessee's had good teams in recent years, beat Alabama a couple times. Georgia's won eight straight against them. What do you attribute that success to?
Well, they've been really good games, right? When you play in the SEC and you're in these really tough top 10 matchups, top 25 matchups, they can go either way a lot of times. At the end of the day, they've played us physical. We've played them physical. They've all been really, really tough physical games. I think being at home usually helps either team in terms of a road versus home. But I don't know that you can attribute it to anything because this year has nothing to do with previous years.
Yeah, Kirby, you mentioned after the game the other night that the team kind of takes on Colby's personality, his energy. Because how impressed have you been with the leadership aspects of him as he enters his second full year in the program?
Yeah, I think he knows what he's fighting for and what he's playing for. He's got a lot of good intentions in terms of what he wants to get out of the season, and that's shown up in his special teams play. It's shown up in his work ethic. It's shown up in his demeanor, his fire, passion, energy, and just the way he plays the game. He's a leader out there, and he wants it really bad, and that kind of rubs off on the rest of the offense in terms of his physicality and his catch radius. The players love being around him. He's got a lot of energy.
Kirby, after watching the film, what can you tell us your thoughts are on the right side of that offensive line with Michael Weenie, Josh Jackson, Dontrell Glover, the freshman, and Bo Hewley? Yeah,
a lot of guys played over there, which was the intent coming into the game. With the temperature being as hot as it was and the weather, we felt like we would play some guys there and kind of see how guys did, see how guys played. It's been a rotating kind of deal all throughout camp. We've had guys in and out of the lineup during camp that's made us kind of platoon that side, and we've even flipped Monroe and flipped Micah over to that side at times. So, they had bright spots and they had disappointing spots, which is probably true for every position group on our field. But we got to continue to progress there, and we got to get the best guys in there and get them some continuity.
Kirby, we spent part of fall camp talking about the emphasis on better tackling. Just 2 games into this season, where do you guys feel like you are as a defense in terms of tackling?
Yeah, we worked hard on it. Done some good things, had some missed tackles and missed some opportunities for turnovers. That's one of the biggest glaring things is you got to get the turnovers when you get an opportunity. The ball's on the ground, interception opportunities, hands on balls, you got to get them. But through 2 games, probably haven't been tested enough to really warrant and say where we are as tacklers.
Hi, Coach. You've mentioned the physicality a few times now. What are some of the ways that you can prepare guys who have never faced SEC opponents for that physicality? Camp.
Our preseason camp is extremely physical, and we prepare during that time as if we're playing each other. So it's what we do each day. It's what we believe in. I don't think you can prepare in the next 5 days for it, no.
You said on Saturday you're preparing this young team. You've thought about it for a couple weeks about the first road game being an SEC road game. What do you do to get ready? Is it just the old blasting Rocky Top, or is there more to it?
Well, I think it's a mental disposition, and it's part of your planning. There's certain things you can do at home that you can't do on the road. You have to be smart as a game planner, what kind of situations you put your team in and where the field position is, what's the down and distance, and your approach to your game planning is, defensively and offensively, you have to think about that. And me being in this league for a long time, it plays a factor on the ability to execute when you're in an environment that maybe someone's never been in, and you have to be smart about what you're asking them to execute, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. Who can execute, who can block and tackle, and who can be physical.
Yeah, do you have any further update on Ethan Barbour after his injury on Saturday?
Yeah, he's got a pretty significant ankle injury. He'll be dealing with, similar to Rosemy and Rod Robinson both had, and he'll have surgery to repair it, so he'll be out for a little bit.
Kirby, what's the priority and the number one job for the defense when the opposing offense wants to spread you out and go fast?
Not give them anything. I mean, I think, there's you have to make them earn it. And we say go the long, hard way, make them execute, make them drive the ball down the field all the way through the red area, and just make them, make it hard to score. And that starts with stopping the run and not giving up big plays. Those are the two key ingredients to Tennessee is can you stop the run and can you not give freebies. But they go with tempo and they do spread you out, and it's a challenging prep.
Coach, I believe it was after the Marshall game where you talked about, the correct play versus, making a big play. For a lot of young guys that are getting a ton of reps, what is that process like for you teaching them and how receptive they are to knowing the difference between a big play or a positive play and the correct play?
Yeah, I don't know what you're referencing. I like big plays, so I would prefer the big play, but correct play sometimes doesn't always lead to a big play. But we talk about result versus process, and we don't want to get caught up in the result. Yes, we want a big play, but I want to go through the process of doing the right things. And sometimes you do the right process, you don't get the right result. Sometimes you do, and you don't do the process right. And we're very intentional on making sure they understand doing the right process leads to big plays and leads to more success than just checking results. And that's, I think, what you're talking about.
Coach, I remember 2 years ago, this time we were asking about Carson making his first career road start in the SEC. Saturday, obviously, it's going to be Gunner. I mean, having been around as long as you have, how do you see him handling? You mentioned the environment earlier. How do you think he's going to handle all that?
I think he's going to be great. I mean, it's something that we practice for all year round. I don't believe in waiting until the week of the game. We do it in spring. We do it all preseason camp. We put a lot of pressure on the players in practice to communicate. A lot of times it's to keep both sides of the ball from hearing each other talk. So we want there to be – I don't want them to hear their coaches talk. So you got to crank it up, and it almost becomes the norm to do that. But there's also a defense over there that you're trying to simulate, and that's hard to simulate because they are very good defensively. They create a lot of issues, very intelligent with their defensive staff in terms of protections, looks. They know what you're thinking, and they try to counter that. So that's the hurdle for us offensively that we all have to get over is making sure we understand what they're trying to do and understand what we're trying to do and do it better than they do it.
After watching film, what did you see as it relates to Gunner and being able to make plays in the downfield passing game?
I don't really know what you mean, Mark.
Just having more success.
Well, success comes through throwing and catching it and getting opportunities to do that. We didn't protect long enough in some of our opportunities to get a chance to do that. So first thing is, what can we do, right? We're running the ball successfully. We ran the ball successfully and ran it, down their throats for the most part. When we do take shots, we want to keep a clean pocket. And he was able to do a lot of good things for us in terms of when the pocket's not clean, of not being second and 20 or second and 15, and instead we're second and 8, avoiding some really long situations or giving up sacks. But certainly we want to be able to improve down the field passing game. I think that comes a little bit off of what we talked about before. How is the defense playing you? And different defenses play different ways.
Kirby, I know how fluid this is when you're calling plays and defenses are shifting. I guess this last game, I don't think a tight end was targeted, and I can't imagine you went into the game plan saying, well, we're just not going to throw the tight ends. But I guess my question is about tight end usage, one, and about what you see from the Tennessee defense, if they've just shown any basic tendencies or any features. That's
a two-part question that I don't really understand how they relate. The first, I don't think that would be true to say that we didn't target tight ends. There's multiple plays that the tight end was number one option, but he was either not there or he was missed, or there might have been a misread. But we had a tight end wide open where somebody fell down in coverage. He was targeted, but we ended up going to the check down. There's a couple other ones that we probably could have hit the tight end on, but we could have hit anybody because it's called zone defense. So you go with the read, but there's no rhyme or reason where we can't call a play where we say this ball is going to the tight end. There is no such thing. There's plays where he's 1, 2, or 3 in the read, but a lot of people think that's just an easier throw. It's really about who gets your touches, and we base who gets the touches usually on who breaks tackles, and that's a big part of being explosive is who's going to get the most run after catch, where are the space and areas of the field that are soft to get easy throws. I think everybody's looking for that, and most offenses do. If you give free access, you take the access.
What stood out to you about this Tennessee defensive line that you guys are getting ready to go up against?
Play really hard, really physical. They're penetrating upfield, low pads, come off the ball, contact tough. I mean, they play really hard. They've disrupted the pocket in each game and really affected the interior pass rush lanes have gotten pushed back.
Kirby, I'm paraphrasing here, but I think you said after the game that you want to see Gunner perform like he's been doing in practice in the game. We don't see practice, but maybe we assume that if he's going well against your guys, he should be able to translate to the field. Is that just experience? Is that just confidence in him? Is that just getting some swagger that he can take what he's been doing and having success against your defense in practice over to the game?
Well, I don't think it's about him. I think it's about the 11 people with him, right? So when we say we want to see Gunner do that and see it carry over, it requires the 11 people doing exactly what they did in practice for him to have success. Because in an offensive unit, one guy can mess up, and that ruins that entire play. Typically on defense, one guy can mess up, and it may not affect the play if it's not attacking that side. But there's several instances, one guy's off, one guy's not at the right depth, one guy doesn't protect, or maybe Gunner. But you can't have cumulative effect of those things and be effective. And we didn't. We really were very effective outside of really one drive. But outside of that, we were very effective with what we've done and got to continue to do that. I've seen them execute well in practice, and we want to continue to see that.
Got time for one more question.
Yeah, we've seen some of Jaden Reddell through the first couple of games. Just what have you made of his progress since the beginning of fall camp and through the first 2 games of the year?
Yeah, he's a great size, speed guy. He's helped us on special teams. He's been physical. He's a weapon. He's getting better. His growth is getting better. It's hard when you come in from never have been a true blocker or do any blocking to having to do all that. He has improved in that through the weight room and through physicality, and he continues to improve. We'll need him to step up and be able to play even more.